ones who plan. I'm the one who gave it all to get all that I am. And I'm left with what if I wanted to throw away all these things I said? Could I keep holding on and holding on to? And what if I wanted to make you stay? Could I just find a way to just keep holding on and holding on to? The strength in me fading. Well, who's to blame when you've gone as far as you can? All along you've gone the wrong way. You're the one with the fight I need. You're the one with the lifeline straight to the heart. Cut it off, and I'll be left with all I have. And I'm left with what if I wanted to throw away all these things I said? Could I keep holding on and holding on to? And what if I wanted to make you stay? Could I just find a way to just keep holding on and holding on to? Time that I try to explain my situation, faced with pride.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mike Brancatelli here, host of the Micadelic Podcast, and you're watching The System Is Down, AntiNews Live, the best anti-news news show in the history of anti-news news shows. Because honestly, what else are you going to do these days? You're going to turn on cable news, listen to a bunch of old gray-haired dinosaurs that talk like robots to try and make you brain dead and fall asleep? Hi, welcome to the news. Today, we're going to lie to you 24/7. Exactly. So, cut your cable, cut your cord, take your television, throw it out the window, go streaking down your neighborhood block and say, Anti-News Live is on. Stay tuned.
Dude,
I have but one question and one question alone.
and that is what?
Have we crossed the line yet?
Pretty sure.
I've heard tell of a line. Have we? Have we yet crossed it?
There's no we. This is all you. I have nothing to do with this.
Hey, you Colin Kaepernick a couple weeks ago.
That's true, but I did not blackface. You
I'm
realize?
wondering if we should even explain this to, like, listeners in the future. Like, people who are just going to listen to the audio, or if we should just say, I'm here in blackface, and leave it at that.
You are the whitest person with blackface right now.
So,
I want to point out that you, over video, like, you have probably the most high definition webcam that I've ever seen on anything. You have zero definition to your face right now. Like, absolutely nothing.
Sweet.
There's no, like, I could barely make out, like, facial structure. It's just, like, nostrils and eyeballs and teeth.
Excellent. Well, how's everybody doing? We're going to jump right into this. We're starting early tonight. We're going to see how 7 o'clock goes, because we know how you guys, you downers, like to get a little bit sleepy come 9 o'clock, and we're not too much different. So we fit it into our busy schedules, and Craig's kids are probably going to come busting through the door any minute now because they're not in bed, but we're here. We're here
So
at our new 7 o'clock time until you guys prove that it doesn't pay off to move it to 7. We'll leave it here.
well, that's what I told my wife. I was like, if we do this tonight and people still don't show up, we're just going to have to bump it back to 9 because it's not worth it.
Yep. Or
When I
maybe
don't-
we'll all just, commit mass suicide. Just a possibility. Just throwing out options. Just spitballing here.
You can't say that because then if you get suicided, people will
Then
think
the Democrats win.
Exactly.
For the listeners, I am here with my whole face and hair painted stark white and wearing all white attire, and just have the word black written in black across my forehead. The reason being, well, Craig, did you hear about this Megyn Kelly nonsense?
I tried to avoid that as much as possible because I didn't want to hear about it.
Well, before we even get into the actual topic and the article, I just want to ask, like, where is the line for blackface exactly? Does this count? Does this qualify for blackface? Because I've got some black paint on my face. Is there like a certain amount of coverage that you have to have?
I have.
You're muted.
I'm not muted.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I actually have black on my face
Yeah,
as
you
well.
have a lot more black than I have on my face. Somebody might
Under-
think that you're trying to look like a black guy. Black.
This
What?
on my eyes even.
So
So-
I'm curious. Like, have we crossed a line here, or have we not? Does this little bit of black matter, or does it
With-
not? What?
Black written word black in
Right.
black on your face. Does
I
that
do
count?
have some black paint on my face. So how much of my face has to be covered?
I'm more offended about the amount of white on your face right now.
Well, I've got a few questions about blackface. I'm curious, like I said, how much black is required, and if you're a white guy and you spray tan, like say Donald Trump,
Or spray orange.
what's the difference between spray tan and you spray it a little bit too dark? Is it possible to be considered a racist for having artificial dark skin and you're trying to look natural?
I don't know what the standard is anymore. I don't know what's considered good or bad. I just assume it's all bad now. Like,
Everybody else seems to be on the same page that if you have black on your face, then you are a racist. But I would beg to differ. And I mean, you just think about like us when we were kids. My idol was Michael Jordan, and I wouldn't be allowed to dress up as Michael Jordan like authentically. I would be doing it out of the utmost respect for the man because he was my idol. But in doing so, that would mean that I hate him because I'm trying to look like him. So I must be making fun of him. It's like,
my kid wears Michael Jordan shirts all the time now. And
in blackface, right?
yeah, well, obviously. I mean, he did that before. But
Right.
my kid is dressing up as Black Panther this year. I think we talked about that, which is a big no-no. That's like the biggest no-no for kids' costumes this year.
Yep.
A friend of mine, I saw his kid was at a Halloween costume as well in a Black Panther costume. And I texted him immediately. I was like, is your kid Black Panther? He's like, yeah, why? I was like, don't you know that he's not allowed to do that because he's white? He's like, I don't care. I was like, neither do I. That's why my kid's dressing as the same.
Mhm.
I was like, I think the only way that you can let your kid do that, though, is if you paint his face black under the mask. And he's like, I'm not going to do that.
That's right. Otherwise,
Fair
you're
enough.
appropriating. Well, I guess you are either way. But yeah, the whole thing is freaking confusing as crap. And as we get into the Megyn Kelly article, like the most important thing here to remember is that blackface, the idea, it wasn't just a color on your skin. It was an idea. It was a character that was made, a caricature of black people where they used like what's it called, like shoe polish, and made their whole face jet black and then left their eyes white and big and their lips really big and maybe put red for their lips to make their lips look bigger. And then they acted like the very stereotypical, yes, master, like super happy-go-lucky slave. That was the idea, and the idea of blackface. But now it's like the whole thing is just two words, blackface. And if you've got black on your face, then you're in blackface and you're a racist.
So I'm curious as to the actual story, the Megyn Kelly story, because I've seen the headlines of Megyn Kelly saying it's okay for you to dress blackface, Megyn Kelly apologizing for saying okay, Megyn Kelly coming out and saying it's not okay for blackface.
I'm glad you're interested to hear the story, and we will get into that story right after this. If you're just now tuning in, welcome to the AntiNews, the place where we talk about the news. That's it, and we piss people off. We have 7-Eleven dance parties. Grab your drinks, grab your smokes, grab all your things, all your vices. Come back and join us. We're going to jump into the official main show here in about 20 seconds, but first, 7-Eleven dance party. Let's do this thing.
All I ask is, if we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do!
The tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he really means that.
Half of Trump supporters do what I call activist support.
I don't know what I said. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands that certain people be put to death.
Thieves or possesses weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al Qaeda.
Handle the truth.
I remember that with that smoke. We are still here.
We have to say yes to socialism.
Bet you want to know tomorrow. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Am I frozen?
Who?
Am I frozen?
I don't believe so.
Let's try this. I'm frozen. Why am I frozen? Trenton Campbell is here. Trenton.
Trenton, it's nice to see you up so late.
That's correct. See if I can get me back in here. What in the hell? All right, Craig, do you have this story? You can start digging into it while I try and figure out what's wrong with my camera.
Why, certainly. Give me like 12 seconds because my computer is slow as balls.
Nathan says, I'm assuming you typically do a 9/11 dance. The 7/11 dance is much more enjoyable. Nathan, grow up.
7-Eleven, we're celebrating the gas station chain.
Of course, I just fucking love slushies.
It's 7 o'clock. You can't give adult language at 7 o'clock.
My bad. I freaking love slushies.
There you go. There you go.
What is going on, camera?
All right. What does this story say? What is going on with my computer? What is happening with technology in general?
Who knows?
I keep saying I need to get a new computer. I just have yet to get a new computer.
Lucas said these technical difficulties are total false flags. You're not wrong. We're just stalling while we try and get our life together.
Fox News says Megyn Kelly's blackface comments are not racist enough to get old job back.
Yeah.
So they would hire her back, is what they're saying? Oh, what the heck. Good old Fox News being racist as usual. So they actually are considering did Megyn Kelly get fired?
That's what I heard initially, is that she got fired basically for having a conversation about blackface and saying, I didn't think that it was like all that big a deal back when I was a kid, and I don't really see what the huge deal is if somebody's doing it respectfully and not doing it in a racist type way or disrespectfully. And everybody, of course, freaked out because the words black and face and okay were all in the same sentence. So
because you can cut it all up and make it into what you want, and so you can't say words that you can cut up and turn into bad things.
Yeah, and I heard that
I can't.
I heard that she lost her job on NBC, and they still were going to have to complete her contract of $69 million without her working there. So, like, okay.
That's almost like firing Roseanne.
Right.
All right, so I got this one. This is the New Yorker talking about Fox News being racist about it. I don't have the original story, but I'm sure this will tell us all we need to know. Says the chief executive officer of Fox News said on Monday that Megyn Kelly's nostalgic remarks about blackface were insufficiently racist for the right-wing cable channel to consider rehiring her. Of course, they had to put right-wing and racist in the same. Says, we at Fox have nothing but respect for Megyn's achievements as... What? This can't be right. It says, this is in quotes, by Fox News' CEO. It says, "We at Fox News have nothing but respect for Megyn's achievements as a racist television personality. Having said that, we do not feel that her blackface comments represent her best work." And that's got to be a misquote.
Who is this?
This is the New Yorker. In quotes about this, Fox News' CEO, Suzanne Scott, says, "We at Fox," got to read this 3 times now to make sure I'm reading it properly. "We at Fox have nothing but respect for Megyn's achievements as a racist television personality. Having said that, we do not feel that her blackface comments represent her best work."
I don't think anybody thought it was her best work.
No, but I also don't think that Fox News would come out and say that.
No,
either.
I'm guessing that this is on actual FoxNews.com.
No, this is the New Yorker quoting
They're
Fox
saying
News.
that Fox News said that she was a great racist.
Yes, apparently. She's got such great racist accolades in her repertoire.
Right.
It says, Scott expressed concerns that by trying to tone down her racism for the morning television... This has got to be wrong.
Are you sure it's not the Onion?
Scott expressed concern that by trying... No, this says The New Yorker at the top. It says, Scott expressed concern that by trying to tone down her racism for the morning television audience... I don't know. This has to be like an op-ed or something. I'm not even going to finish this because there's... Oh, it's satire. The New Yorker satire. Okay. Yeah.
All right. This is from Variety.
Thanks, New Yorker.
Variety.
Let's get some real news. That's probably the most real news out of all of them.
It's probably going to be more legit than this is going to be. But Megyn Kelly apologizes to co-workers for, quote, blackface comments. Megyn Kelly sparked social media backlash Monday in a discussion on her Megyn Kelly Today about Halloween celebrants wearing black or white face makeup. Later in the day, she sent an email to NBC News coworkers apologizing for her on-air comments. Kelly wondered aloud during a conversation about universities putting pressure on students to not wear costumes that might be deemed offensive. Quote, "What is racist?" End quote. She asked. A panel that included Jenna Bush Hager, Jacob Soboroff, and who cares what these people's names are. Quote,
Jenna Bush Hager is George Bush's daughter.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Pretty 99% sure.
I'm not sure if I care more or less knowing that. But you do get it, quote, "You do get in trouble if you are a white person who puts on blackface for Halloween or a black person who puts on whiteface for Halloween. Back when I was a kid, that was okay, just as long as you were dressing as a character." In her email to colleagues, Kelly said the backlash made her reconsider her opinion, and that's the biggest fucking problem with this. As always, you're just gonna backpedal again. I mean, if you honestly think you were wrong, then yeah, come out and say I was wrong. But if you were, you clearly were, just thinking out loud, and as they said, just thinking out loud, having a conversation, she wasn't even saying, I definitively think that, you know, white people wearing blackface, black people wearing whiteface is totally good always. She never even gave a real opinion. She just said, back when I was young, this didn't seem like a big deal, and I don't understand it. Let's talk.
However, we did mention last week on the episode last week that what's her name? The train wrecked actress. Can't think of her name now. Anyway. Doesn't matter.
I know her name.
How she said that she wonders if white people not kneeling for the national anthem are racist. Not really racist, but co-conspirators or something like that. Yeah, she wonders. So she didn't have to actually come out and say it, but she said it without actually saying it. So it kind of makes me wonder, maybe Megyn Kelly's saying it without actually saying it. It's like, I wonder if it's not actually as racist as we think. But
either way, even if she meant it, I agree with her. I don't think it is offensive to accurately portray somebody of another race.
Sure, but it's just her coming out as nonchalant as possible, be like, that's like nobody wants to actually take a stand on anything, but they just want to give their opinions without actually giving their opinions. It's like, if you don't think it's racist, which to an extent, no, I don't think so. The picture that you have up on your on the background for this video, that kind of blackface might be deemed slightly, mostly racist. But
that is racist, yes.
what we are referring to, no, I don't think so. And I'm not going to be like, I kind of think that maybe possibly it's not. It's just like nobody wants to take a stance on anything because, well, look what happens when you do, I guess. So I guess it doesn't even matter because even just thoughts cause people to get fired now.
If a black person came out and made the exact same statements, like, is it really that big a deal? Yada, yada. I wonder if it would have the same backlash.
If Kanye West did, then yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that would be racist.
My computer's like freaking out, so hopefully we stick around here. It's acting like it wants to bring my other camera back in and just kicked out my camera altogether, so that's fun.
Yeah, you're frozen.
Sweet. Anyway, there's more to this.
It's because it doesn't like working this early in the night.
Apparently so. I reset everything. I cleared off my desktop. Everything was good to go. Am I back? I might be back. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep reading. Where'd my story go? Did I close my story? No. Okay. So it goes on to say, today is one of those days where listening carefully to other points of view, including from friends and colleagues, is leading me to rethink my own views, she wrote. I've never been a PC kind of person, but I understand that we do need to be more sensitive in this day and age. Okay. Based on what? That people are more offended in this day and age, or that it's more wrong in this day and age?
Based on the fact that more people get fired.
Exactly. Particularly on race and ethnicity issues, which, far from being healed, have been exacerbated in our politics over the past year. This is a time for more understanding, love, sensitivity, and honor, and I want to be part of that. I look forward to continuing that discussion. A whole bunch of nothing, in my opinion. Yes, I don't feel like what she said was unloving, though. She was having a conversation just like we do on this show. That's the point of this show, is to say, hey, what about this? Do you really want to think that out to its fullest possible conclusion and let's explain why we disagree on something? That's what she was doing. She wasn't making hard stances. So, I don't know. I think the whole thing is completely stupid.
Yeah, I'm just really sick and tired of hearing all of it because you gotta tiptoe around everything now. There's no giving opinions. There's no giving a side. Either side, you're usually wrong. It doesn't matter because somebody's going to find that you're wrong either way because that's just where we are as a nation. There is no middle ground anymore. There's no, well, why can't we all just talk about this? And then it's just like, no, you're a racist, or no, you're like a weak-minded person or something. I don't know. So, yeah, you got to take a solid stance or you're like a fence sitter. And if you do take a solid stance, one side's going to crucify you either way.
Somebody named Joel Hokey commented saying, I'm telling you straight now, you white MFers can dress up as black people if you want to. Then I will dress up as a cop and beat the living chit out of you.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand there is racist in the world and there are dirty cops in the world and that there are stupid people in the world. I do understand that.
But also that's like saying that I dressed up as a black person and then, carried out a negative black stereotype like he would be doing with the cop. If I were to dress up as a black person, it would be out of respect for whoever it was. It wouldn't be a demeaning thing, and I don't understand why it would be demeaning. But
I don't know.
Somebody call in. Let me know why I'm wrong.
You're still froze, though. It's just me. Or you're just gone.
On the main, so.
On the main, I'm watching as just me.
Oh. Well,
from what I can see. I don't know how far ahead. Maybe I'm like, oh, okay, I'm like way back in time as well.
Somebody comment in and let us know how professional we appear in our. Just let us know if you can see both of us. But anyway, that's it for that. Not much else to say except for the whole thing is stupid. She wasn't trying to make a hard stance against black people or a hard stance for white supremacy or blah blah blah. She was just saying, let's talk about this, and I'm just saying, let's talk about this. So, whatever. Get your panties out of the wads.
Oh, I get it. I get how... I don't know. I just don't care anymore. I'm just tired of hearing it all together. And Halloween is starting to turn into my least favorite time of the year.
Oh, easily.
Rather than my favorite time, because I do enjoy a good costume now and then. I do enjoy going to like Halloween balls and seeing all the different crazy offensive things people dress up as. I saw a woman dressed up as the guy who does what?
You should just save it, because I wanted to save that for the after party. Let's talk about our weekends and our parties and any possible appropriation that was there.
I saw a person this weekend dressed up as the guy from Saturday Night Live who did the Dick in the Box, and so
Justin Timberlake.
What's that?
Justin Timberlake or Andy Samberg?
I don't know. Whoever did Dick in the Box on
both
Saturday Night Live.
Right.
So yeah, this was a chick who did it. So dressed up as a guy who did Dick in the Box.
Yeah.
So
another point that Jason Stapleton made on this topic of Megyn Kelly, it's like, we live in a day and age where if somebody feels like they're black on the inside, if they're an albino who feels black, then they can say that they're black and they will get sympathy from a certain group of people. That same group of people, if that person put black makeup on their face to make themselves look the way they feel on the inside, they would be a racist against the thing that they were trying to look like.
Well, yeah, it's like that woman, that white woman who pretended to be black to like head up the NAACP or whatever she was heading up, the black civil rights group. She got
black, at least.
I don't know. She got like crucified for pretending to be black, but she was doing all this stuff good for the black community, and they still came out and like destroyed her when they found out that she wasn't really black, which in my opinion, that's the least important part of the matter. The fact of the matter is that she is willing to step out and do all this good stuff. I mean, if she's trying to reap the benefits of being a black person, like somebody possibly claiming Native American heritage just to get an upper hand in their career, then yes, that's a different story. But if you are just simply helping, like working in that community and helping out that community, that's no different than like the missionaries who have gone to China and conformed to the Chinese culture, wearing all the Chinese dress and get up and stuff so they could fit into the culture and help out the culture and just be part of the culture. That's no different to me. But I guess in 2018, that would probably be considered racist.
Is there a difference between assimilation and appropriation? Like, if you're in the culture, should you be of the culture, or should you stick with your culture? Should you still dance like a white guy at a black nightclub? Or is that offensive? I don't even know anymore.
You shouldn't dance at a nightclub at all.
That's probably true, unless you're black.
I've seen your dancing.
For
whatever reason, you are not frozen on YouTube, but you are very much frozen on my screen. So I'm just staring.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with, but
yeah, I'm not going to do too much here anyway to look at. So feel free to just listen until the after party. But to those of you who are just now tuning in, welcome to the Anti-News. Please call in 309-716-3818. This is the place where we get all friendly with each other. And just like the old days of conspiracy radio broadcasts, we like to sit in our basements and have call-in shows that make people uncomfortable.
But it's so much easier nowadays than it was in the old days of conspiracy radio.
Oh, yeah. Now it's like a couple buttons and a couple $100 worth of technology. But
and even if things go awry, like they always do, we can just hit the reset button and start all over, and then we're right back at it. Versus if your board or equipment went down back in the old days, it's like, well, crap, now I'm going to have to save another $1,500 to get more equipment.
Yep. Nathan Sipes asks, is race a construct?
I don't know how to answer that.
I don't either. Nathan, call in and explain yourself. All right, what else you got, Craig?
It's nice to see Nathan on here, that he's not sleeping like the old man that he is.
Yeah, he's out of town, so his wife and child aren't there to pull him away from the good things in life. The important things.
There's a lot going on in the news right now.
I just realized I had you cranked up over here, so you're probably echoey that whole time, but sorry guys, let's continue.
So, we got like shootings happening, bombs being mailed, suspects being arrested, and then more bombs being mailed. So,
Did you like my title? The mail bomb part? Midterm pipe
remember.
dreams?
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
So apparently, as of October 27th, the pipe bomb suspect was arrested. However, yesterday there was an article posted that another pipe bomb was mailed to CNN. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. So let's get into that story a little, because I mean, this is almost a week old story, but it's post last Monday. That's why we need an everyday daily
right
show.
After last Monday. It was like Tuesday or Wednesday.
So apparently, I'll just read this article. This is after they arrested the guy, but I'm sure it will discuss the details of the event. It says, soon after officials announced the arrest of Cesar Altieri Seiko Sayoc Jr., that's quite a name, who's accused of sending pipe bombs to prominent Democratic figures, cable news offered the first window into the Florida man's state of mind when they aired footage of his vehicle, a white van covered in pro-Trump and anti-media and anti-liberal imagery. That's the first look into his mind.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Right. And like social media accounts that were allegedly run by Sayoc, his van was a platform to show his support of Donald Trump that verged on the obsessive and to denigrate Trump's perceived opposition, some of whom would receive bombs in the mail. So bombs got sent to Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, I think Joe Biden, Robert De Niro, I think, got one sent to him. There was a few others,
Like
prominent.
They're putting Robert De Niro in the same category as
Right.
Obama and Hillary.
Oh, George Soros got one. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Which, dang it.
He paid for the whole thing. Might as well send himself one.
He's like, you better make sure I get a fake one.
Lucas Riley said that extra pipe bomb was intended for the director's cut.
Says the focus of Sayoc's van was railing against Trump's purportedly enemies in support of the man Sayoc described as a man of his word over 40 years. I guess that's Trump, maybe. According to the Washington Post, Sayoc mentioned George Soros 34 times. This is on his social media account. Barack Obama 29 times and Hillary Clinton 21 times on his Twitter feed. And many of the memes he used on Twitter made their way to his van, with Sayoc calling Soros a globalist, socialist, progressive Democrat. I call Soros a globalist, socialist, progressive Democrat. That doesn't mean I'm going to
person to say that.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm going to mail him pipe bomb. Well, that doesn't mean I'm going to mail him pipe bombs.
Would George Soros even deny that description?
Exactly. Pretty sure he has claimed that he is all of the above. Sayoc, a registered Republican since March of 2016. So he's just recently a diehard Republican. This isn't like something he's been...
It's super recent because he's got to be a Republican just for Trump. He's got to be a Trumpian.
Right. It says a registered Republican since March of 2016 also put statements praising Florida Republicans Rick Scott and Ron DeSantis. Oh, that's enough right there for him to be supporting a Republican. Both running for office this year on his van. One of the memes Sayoc used, by what they've claimed, look into the life of this guy, look into this guy's mind, so to see who he really is. Do you remember that crazy bearded guy that they claimed was JFK Jr. that had the big Trump van rolling around?
I don't know if I saw that.
Oh, I think we discussed it for a second.
I don't recall.
Yeah, they were claiming JFK Jr. was alive, and he was this caricature guy that they said looked exactly like him. His eyes, maybe, but he was rolling around in the Trumpmobile. This thing was decked out. It wasn't like stickers like this. The whole thing was like a custom paint job Trump van that he drove around.
On top of it.
Probably. But yeah, they claimed this was JFK Jr. So by what they've claimed here, that guy is suspect in the pipe bombs too. Says one of the memes Sayoc used both on his social media and his van, the swamp to be drained, list alleged scandals of the Obama administration, like the existence of Black Lives Matter, the Department of Justice's Fast and Furious debacle, and Obama's illegal executive orders. These appeared alongside pictures of Democratic figures like former President Barack Obama. All this is saying the guy didn't like Democrats, which there's a lot of people who don't like Democrats.
Right.
I don't even see anywhere where it really even talks about the case. It's just literally talking about well, look at this guy. Look how big of a crazy nut job Trump supporter he is. So this guy, and I've actually seen people post on their social media that this is just another thing that Trump's hate speech and all this has influenced people like this. It's like I still have yet to hear hate speech, like direct hate speech out of Donald Trump's mouth. Maybe I just don't listen to him enough to know exactly what they're referring to when they say all the hate speech and the fire and hate that he spits out of his mouth all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he spits a lot of stupid things out of his mouth, but I have yet to hear direct hate.
Yeah. Yeah, and the strangest thing about these pipe bombs, I mean, I've seen things showing that they're fake. Even let me see. Well, we'll get into the fakeness here in a minute, but the strangest thing about it is, like, who serves to gain anything from doing this? Like, if it was an actual pipe bomb that was going to blow up and kill Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama or George Soros, who serves to gain from that? Because these people they're not really having any impact right now. Killing them would probably just benefit the Democratic side, because it's not going to make people think, oh, this guy had it all together. He knew what he was doing. He was taking out the enemy, and so now we're going to vote Republican. No, they would be like, apparently Republicans are psychos. We're going to vote Democrat. I've heard a lot of not conspiracy people, very anti-conspiracy people, be like, this is real shady. And like military people who are like, these bombs are clearly fake. There's nothing real about these. And
well, for not a single one of them to detonate at all.
Right. Yep. Terrible job.
Man, he did a terrible job. If his thought was, I'm going to blow these people up, he failed majorly, like big time. Like the Unabomber would be highly disappointed in this man right now.
Yeah.
Here, I'm not going to read this, but this is the level that we've reached. Here's a headline by NBC News that says, the Pittsburgh shooter, which is the other incident that happened, the Pittsburgh shooter and the pipe bomb suspect never met, but they have this thing in common. What do you think that thing is?
Trump, obviously. Duh.
Obviously, I mean, it's got to be.
What could possibly make our spidey senses go off when this stuff happens? It's the fact that you try and tie them all together, and make it look like everybody is evil who disagrees with you, and you're doing it at such a convenient time. It's just so hard to take seriously. And we'll get into the shooting. I'm not saying, as always, I'm not saying that didn't happen. I can at the very least, I can scoff about these pipe bombs because nobody even is alleged to have died. But naturalnews.com, so you know it's legit. I don't even know what this is, but their headline is
all natural. There's nothing fake in it.
Right.
It's all natural.
Yeah.
It's homegrown, fresh news.
Fake, quote, pipe bomb hoax unravels as Democrats appear desperate to sway elections. The fake pipe bomb fiasco that has gripped America for at least 2 days is rapidly unraveling as a political hoax. We now know that the so-called pipe bombs were nothing more than movie prop devices built in almost cartoon-like fashion. Did they say like Acme on the side and have a giant fuse?
They probably had like a big alarm clock right in the middle of it.
None of them were functional, and they contained no explosives. The cheap clocks taped to the pipes have no alarm functions and are incapable of triggering anything. The entire fiasco is nothing more than elaborate theater. The timing of the, quote, bombs being mailed just 2 weeks before the election and having them mailed exclusively to Democrats smacks of attempted election interference. Funny. And an obvious false flag operation. Americans aren't fooled. In fact, the woman was photographed displaying a, quote, fake news, fake bombs sign earlier that day. It's got a picture here that I can't share because I've got it up on my laptop here, but indicating that members of the public are fully aware the entire fiasco was staged for political purpose. For details of the fake pipe bombs hoax and how it It's all unraveling by the hour. Watch my new counterthink video. Wow. Wasn't that what this was supposed to be? This article was supposed to be what you're telling me to go somewhere else to see. InfoWars also.
Go subscribe to my page, and I'll tell you why this is all fake.
Yeah. Yeah, InfoWars report, so you know it's legit, also says, law enforcement confirms pipe bombs are fake. Deep state false flag confirmed. Confirmed.
According to InfoWars, everything is fake. So.
It's true. It's true. Except for, like, Sandy Hook.
Except for...
Hook. I mean, Sandy Hook. My bad.
Holy crap.
The 9 bombs sent to prominent Democrats and leftists appear to be fake. A possible motive is to gain votes for Democrats in the midterms while blaming Trump and Alex Jones for violence. Alex exposes the many red flags about this deep state false flag operation. And there's a 6-second video. Blah, blah, blah. We're in a fight, brother.
Here's a paragraph out of that one connecting the dots between the two. The shooter. Okay, do you have an article about the shooter, or should we just go over it really fast? Because there's really not a lot to talk about.
I don't have much.
As far as I know, a guy shot up a synagogue in Pittsburgh over the weekend. It was like Friday night or Saturday night, and they're coming out saying he was an anti-Semite and a Republican and a Trump supporter and all this stuff. Well, this article here was the one that was connecting the dots that they had in common. But this paragraph here is the most frustrating of all, I'm pretty sure, because it says anti-Semitism is a central motivating force in the far-right ideology and ties together the strands of rage, bigotry, and conspiracy that have become more and more mainstream over the last decades in the Republican Party. Even for the Nazis, anti-Semitism was always more than just hatred of Jewish individuals. It was a sweeping ideology that connected a broad range of prejudices and grievances. For Hitler, Jews were the masterminds of the vast anti-German conspiracy. So that's saying that the Republican Party is more racist than Hitler was, more anti-Semite, that they just hate Jews because they're Jews. At least Hitler had a reason to hate the Jews.
Donald Trump is literally super Hitler. Hashtag
he's
super
like
Hitler.
Worse than him. Because at least they had their reasoning was that they were the masterminds of the anti-German conspiracy. But man, these Republicans, they're just bigots and they have rage and conspiracy written all over them, and it's just becoming so
written all over there.
It's becoming so prominent in the Republican Party. I have yet to see anti-Semitism be that obvious in the Republican Party, because like we've said, that's the one topic nobody will even touch on, even if they do have questions about it. It's not like you never get a Republican nominee coming out saying, oh, it's got to be the Jews' fault. It's definitely the Jews. No, or even like hinting towards it. I haven't even really heard anything
has to do
against
Israeli
the Jews in so long.
And, touch the glowing ball and pledge their allegiance and all that. Like, what are you even talking about?
I mean, we've been backing Israel for decades now, like both militarily and economically. I maybe we just don't dig too much into politics as much as we should, but this is the biggest stretch. We
probably do more than most just doing this show.
Yeah, this is just a giant stretch here, connecting anti-Semites to the bomber, to Republican craziness, to Trump. It's like you are so stretching right now. This is complete garbage. What are your sources? Do you cite your sources of this? Because I don't know where you're getting this information from.
Yeah, Beto sent me a what's his podcast again? Thought and Conduct, right?
Thought and Conduct podcast.
Yeah, he sent me an article. Let me see if I can find it here. I'm not pulling things up in screen share today because things are being too glitchy. I'm afraid it'll kick us out of here. But let me find this. He sent me a picture that just says, dude, WTF is going on. If you could look into this and see if you can find any legitimacy for it, it's like a picture of... It's not opening. It's not opening. I'm on the wrong internet. Good Lord.
Okay. You're failing miserably. You shouldn't have two internet connections. They conflict with each other.
Okay, so he sent me this picture, and you guys can probably look it up. It was posted on Twitter by Partisan Girl. I think it's just at Partisan Girl. And it says, the flag attached to the hashtag bomb wasn't an ISIS flag. It was another flag made to look like an ISIS flag. It's literally, literally hashtag a false flag. Hashtag MAGA bomber. And the...
I saw that. It is so ridiculous.
The image... I mean, is this legit, or did somebody make this up? I'm assuming this is not legit, but it has, like, silhouettes of, like, stripper girls on the top of it.
It's like kind of like the Playboy girls or whatever, those like naked girls sitting on when you see them on like bumper stickers on trucks and stuff like that.
That's fashioned into look like some Israeli text, and then Israeli text in the circle underneath that says "Get her done." It's like
not Israeli. That'd be more Islamic or Arabic or something.
Yeah. So that. There's that. If somebody wants to look into that and let me know if if there's any legitimacy to these, to this Larry the Cable Guy promo attempt here. Of course, if they wanted it to seem like it was a legitimate Donald Trump supporter and not a Islamic terrorist, they scored with that one. If it's true.
Well, I was gonna say that definitely screams of. The stereotypical redneck Trump supporter if it is quoting Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah. Chris just commented in and said, you guys deserve way more subs. I assume YouTube's algorithm has something to do with it. Wouldn't it surprise me? It apparently scans audio. Yeah.
I would like to think that's true. I'm hoping that's true.
I'm going to say you're right, Chris. That I appreciate your blind enthusiasm. Please go out and share the show with a couple friends. Let's fight these algorithms, because they have to be the reason why we have so few subs. It could also be because we haven't been doing these live broadcasts for very long. So I would encourage everybody to go out and share the show around. We are planning on within the next week or two, I'm looking into ways to have this broadcast out to a bunch of different platforms like Facebook Live, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, and everything all at once. I've been meaning to do that and keep putting it off, but hopefully that'll help us kick up the numbers in here a little bit. But either way, we appreciate several of you for being here during the live stream. We get a lot more downloads after the fact, but the point of a live stream is to be live together and converse with one another instead of just listening to stupid people ramble about things they know nothing about in the aftermath. Nathan says, I blame Craig. His salary is nuts. We could use that money toward paid ads.
I literally got, I think you sent me $18 for a 1.5-year contract for this gig.
It's true. It's true. And now you have the RSS feed link, so you don't even have to re-up. But
that's true.
While we're on the topic of that, if you want to be a part of the after party that we're going to jump into in about a half an hour, go sign up for the Downers Club at patreon.com/The System Is Down. Only $1 gets you into the live feed of that right after this broadcast. And we're going to be talking about more fun, laid-back stuff. And you can call in and be a part of the entire conversation. But only $1 if you're tuning in live. If you're listening in the aftermath, it jumps back up to the normal $5. So be there or regret every second of your life after. Chris says Tim Pool mentioned it in one of his recent vids on censorship.
Guessing he's talking about YouTube algorithms and stuff like that. Which
there definitely are YouTube algorithms. I don't necessarily think that we're big enough for people or for YouTube to give a crap at this point. I know I have plenty of friends who are getting hit by YouTube, and that's why I want to stray away from YouTube before it becomes a crutch that can be pulled out from underneath us in the future. But yeah. Chris asked about PayPal. It's not PayPal. Just go to patreon.com/systemsdown. You can use credit card and all that. It might have a PayPal option in there too. Anyway.
I'm sure it does. Here's an op-ed from the New York Times kind of discussing all of the mentioned. It's called The Hate Poisoning America. So this is going to discuss everything that's going on right now.
Okay.
And why there's so much hate right now.
I don't feel like I am currently dressed for the occasion and qualified to talk about the hate in America. I could be wrong.
says, what is going on in this country? Can't we be safe in our homes, in our schools, or in our most sacred places? Once again, Americans are left to ask each other these sort of questions after a gunman burst into the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh on the Jewish Sabbath and opened fire on families in the contemplation of their faith. Armed with a semi-automatic rifle and 3 handguns, he killed 11 people and wounded 6 more, including 4 police officers. Jews must die, he was said to have shouted. I mean, if this is actually legit, which I haven't seen anything saying that it's not legit, but if it is, this guy, he's not a Trump supporter. He's not a diehard Republican. And the guy's just a freaking asshole.
Yep.
That's all that it comes down to. It doesn't matter what his faith is.
Right. It's the same as like my conversation with the occultist witch Lailakin Skathich this morning that came out. He's like, I asked him about satanic ritual abuse and all that. He's like, if you're committing a crime, you're a criminal. If people are doing it in mass under like in mass quantities under a name, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what that faith believes. And people, he says that people aren't doing it in mass, just like there are plenty of Christians and Jews who have committed terrorist acts and done terrible things, probably claim to be Christians who shot up this synagogue. That doesn't mean that Christians are terrorists. It doesn't mean that Trump supporters are terrorists either.
Right. And like I said, yes, I guess you could pinpoint or connect the dots that he was a diehard right-winger, but that has nothing to do with this. He was just a demented asshole who just wanted to shoot people, who hated people, and I lay no claim to this guy whatsoever, even if he's the same faith as me, the same political support as me, which I highly doubt because I don't really support anything politically. Yeah. But the guy's just an asshole. So it goes on to say the attack came a day after a man was arrested in Florida for mailing pipe bombs to politicians and journalists across the country. In both cases, the suspects had nourished their animus online on social media platforms where they could easily connect with people who shared their hatreds. So shut down social media if that's your problem. Just shut it all down.
They're saying that this guy sucks because he was able to get online. It's insane. He was able to get online and find people who think the same way as he does. What about people on the left who are hateful and get online and
like
converse with hateful people or people online who converse with not hateful people? Yes, you're going to, no matter where you go, if you have freedom of speech, you're going to be allowed to know that somebody else has the same ignorant thoughts as you do. Point in case.
Next,
the system's
goes
down.
on to say, violent crime remains at a historic low across the United States, but by various indexes, I think it's supposed to be indices, isn't it? But by various indexes, hate appears to be on the rise. Over the past 2 years, anti-Semitic attacks have more than doubled. I haven't really heard about these, but according to the Anti-Defamation League,
are they qualifying attacks? Are they saying like somebody saying, you know, I wonder if the Holocaust was real or not? Are they considering that as anti-Semitic attacks or not?
I don't know. It just says over the past 2 years, anti-Semitic attacks have more than doubled, according to the Anti-Defamation League, which says it believes Saturday's attack was the deadliest against Jews in American history. Can they say Jews?
Yeah.
It says after the attack on the Tree of Life, Rabbi Marvin Heer, the founder and dean of Simon Wiesenthal Center, told the Times, I'm afraid to say that we may be at the beginning of what has happened to Europe, the consistent anti-Semitic attacks. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Maybe I'm naive, and maybe I'm really gullible, but I don't believe we're seeing the rise of anti-Semitic attacks. I think we're seeing the rise of overplayed attacks, over media hyped attacks. But I don't think there's more than there was 20 years ago. I don't think there's more school shootings than there was 20 years ago. I think there's the 24-hour more. I mean, it sounds stupid to say, but there's more than 24-hour media coverage now with the internet and Facebook and stuff like that. It's just constantly smashed and smushed into your face, more so than 10 years ago, CNN and the 24-hour news cycle was smashing in your face.
Which
now
is
it's
ridiculous
just
enough.
Yeah, now it's just overly saturated. Goes on to say, if it is not nipped in the bud, he said in a remark that should make every American pause and think. He says, I am afraid the worst is yet to come. Anti-Semitic claims have acquired new energy online to the point that Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, recently cited that the Holocaust, or cited one that the Holocaust never actually happened, as an example of offensive but good-faith argument on a social media platform. I think there are things that different people get wrong, Zuckerberg said in an interview. I don't think they're intentionally getting it wrong. He subsequently clarified that he absolutely didn't intend to defend the intent of people who deny that within living memory, Hitler's Germany killed 6 million Jews as part of a systematic campaign to kill them all. So now they're slamming on Zuckerberg for making his claims again, bringing that into this. Suspect in the Pittsburgh killing, Robert Bowers, had found a home for his hate on Gab, a new social network that bills itself as a guardian of free speech, unlike somewhat less permissive platforms like Twitter. There, his online biography read, Jews are the children of Satan. I mean, to be blunt, yeah. I mean, every shooter has that as their main profile biography. I mean, nothing suspicious here.
Yeah.
A statement of personal values that he evidently expected to earn him not opprobrium, but followers. Long anti-Semitism, anti-black hatred appears to be rising. It has been expressed recently not only in incidents in which white Americans have harassed black Americans for gardening, coming home, swimming, working, or campaigning for public office, but in deadly attacks like the ones by a bigot who shot 2 black people. I mean, there's been stupid white people out there like who have called police recently on black guys who were out like gardening because for whatever reason they thought they were breaking in there. I mean, that's just another.
Stupid. Okay.
Yeah, you're not going to get rid of stupid people.
Hear about this crap.
Yeah, I've seen it in passing. It says, white bigot who shot 2 black people at Kentucky grocery store last week after he tried but failed to enter a black church. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. So, yeah. And time again, Americans have seen videos of nativists. So, okay, I can't leave it alone. So the guy shot and killed 2 black people last week. I didn't hear about this. How did we miss this?
The same guy?
Somebody else said last week a bigot shot and killed 2 black people at a Kentucky grocery store last week after he tried but failed to enter a black church. So he wasn't allowed into the black church?
Okay.
Is that what I'm getting out of this?
Like, yeah. Like, did he not know how black doorknobs work?
I don't know.
He tried and failed to enter the church.
Well, it sounds like he was stopped from entering and then got pissed off and went and killed 2 black people, which, wow, that's
quite an extreme.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's obviously justified. It's like, oh, somebody stopped you from going here, so let's kill 2 random black people that have nothing to do with it. But that brings me back to the point of, can you imagine if a black guy was stopped from entering a white church?
It's true. There would be a lot more people outraged about it. Same with the cultural appropriation stuff. Like Megyn Kelly said, it's bad for a black guy to wear a white face and a white guy to wear a black face, but White Chicks was a movie, and that was totally fine. And would anybody really be that outraged if a black guy wore white makeup?
Probably not.
I don't know, but yeah. Why didn't we hear anything about this shooting by racist guy who wasn't allowed to go praise Jesus in the most holy of ways? And why wasn't there a gigantic outrage and outcry and report on him not being allowed to attend the black church?
But it just seems like they're cherry picking the most obvious racist acts and throwing them into this narrative here. But they're missing the whole spectrum of crimes that are probably happening in the world right now. White on white, black on white, white on black. They're just picking they're picking the ones that fit this narrative here
Yeah.
and claiming that hate is on the rise. No, just stupid people are on the rise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And maybe not even on the rise. It's just stupid people are getting more credit than they should be getting.
Yeah.
And
we just care more all of a sudden. It's not even like we care about the deaths. We care about the shooters more than we care about the people who died.
We care about the outrage.
Yes.
Yeah, we care about the outrage of it.
We care about, and it all becomes political too. Both sides are guilty of the same exact frickin' thing. If something works in your favor, you jump on it as quickly as you possibly can and spin it a little bit or all the way so that it fits your narrative. If a school shooting happens, the left will jump onto it and use it as a let's get rid of guns thing, and the right will jump onto it and use it as a we need more guns thing. Like, everybody uses everything for their agenda. So none of the opinions matter. All that matters is the frickin' facts. And I was kind of holding off on the shooting thing because I really don't like to jump the gun on things to do with shootings and potential false flags and crap like that, whether you guys believe it or not. I like to wait and see if somebody else can do my homework for me on both sides and weigh both options and come to a conclusion later on. So maybe next week I'll be able to weigh in on it more. But right now, if people did indeed die, which I have no reason to think that they didn't, then that really fucking sucks. And the guy who did it is probably a racist ass. Well, he's definitely an asshole. He's probably a racist asshole if he actually shouted those things.
Nathan questioned me, said, Craig, you really don't believe that there are more school shootings per year than there were before 1995? I don't know. I'm not claiming numbers at all. I don't have facts. I don't know facts, but I'm just saying there were shootings 20 years ago. There are shootings today. They were not as publicized 25, 30 years ago as they are today. Yeah. Sure, there might be more school shootings now, or we might just be hearing about it a lot more now. I don't know. I do know that they happen, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a factual person, but
Nathan,
I do know that
for the facts, check with Ryan Beckenbaugh, because we did our tripartisan triggering episode on school shootings a while back and guns and stuff, and he was like the most like the stats actually aren't that high, and like they haven't grown as exponentially in like amounts as we are told that they are. The Democrat in the conversation was saying this isn't as big of a crisis as we're making it out to be. It sucks, and it is a crisis, but it's not like school shooting numbers have like skyrocketed since Donald Trump got elected, like they try to make it sound like. No,
and like this article said, violent crimes are at an all-time low right now.
Right.
But hate is at an all-time high.
How do you quantify
it's like that doesn't
hate?
line up. Yeah, well, how does that even line up? It's like if you think excessive hate would perpetuate excessive crime or excessive violence. If violence is down, you would think, or is there just more closeted, hateful people now that are just like, oh, I don't like him, so I'm just going to not do anything about it? It's like, how do you, like you said, how do you quantify hate unless they're acting out on it? If there's nothing acted out, then how are you even making these claims? If you're making these claims based on trolls on the internet running their mouth, that's just because these people are given a platform to run their mouth. They were there. Yeah, they were there 50 years ago. You had more racists 50 years ago than you have now. They just weren't given a soapbox to stand on publicly and proclaim to 20 million people or however many people are on these platforms that, hey, I really don't like these black people or these Jews. They were still there saying all this. They were just doing it on their front porch with a shotgun in their lap.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that did not get out to the mainstream media nearly as much as it does now, because we didn't have a person across the street from them on their front porch with a shotgun and a Southern flag shouting. Well, we didn't have the people are still there. They're probably still on their front porch, but they're concerned about the next door neighbor who has a camera on their phone and a camera on their front porch and cameras everywhere. I don't know. It's more evident now, for sure. But I think we need to take a quick break. It is 8:06. We'll be back to conclude this episode of the Anti-News shortly after that. And I think we could do a short break. Do you agree?
Yeah, let's do a short break.
Okay, we'll do like maybe 5 minutes. So everybody, if you're listening, if you're just now tuning in, which I see a couple people are, go grab your drinks, grab your smokes, grab a friend, most importantly. Bring them back in for the conclusion of the Anti-News, and we'll cover another story or two right after this short intermission. Stick
grab
around.
Several friends. Grab many friends.
Yes, and grab your phones and call in to 309-716-3818, and we'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is Ole Dammerwood from Light on Conspiracies, and you are watching Anti-News Live.
Somebody used the N-word on this show. It is not okay. It is not okay, Charles Kaiser. I respect you. I enjoy having you on as a guest, but not okay. By the way, I've never heard of this, so there's that. Take a break.
It's intermission time. Time for refreshment.
DonorC is the best way to give your money. We have an ever-growing network of aid workers living all over the planet. These aid workers use our app to take pictures of people in need, post them to DonorC, and then fundraise. After you give your money, the aid workers then post photo and video updates to show you exactly how your money was spent, even if you only gave $1. Are you looking to make the most impact with your money? Give on DonorC. Do you know an overseas aid worker? Tell them to start posting. It's easier to post a project on DonorC than a picture on Instagram.
Why do people hate libertarians? One part of America calls them soulless robber barons who want to stick children back in factories, and the other part thinks they're drugged-up anarchists. Who are they? And why have regular Americans been told to avoid libertarians and their ideas? Hi, I'm Remso W. Martinez, Amazon best-selling author of Stay Away from the Libertarians, where I'm going to debunk the myths, misconceptions, and outright lies thrown at libertarians, ranging from the idea that votes can be stolen to the radical notion that you own yourself. From personal stories to ignored history, I lay out the facts and ask you if these dastardly libertarians are as much of a threat as the mainstream media and establishment politicians make them seem. You can go ahead and get a copy in print and in Kindle e-reader on Amazon today. Stay Away from the Libertarians by Remso W. Martinez. Available on Amazon.
Well, obviously there's things that I don't feel led to share on a camera and have go out because most people just wouldn't understand at least my willingness to be open about it. But I've suffered things that make me almost cry thinking about it.
Just can't believe you froze up.
I grew up in Houston, Texas, and I'm raised and born in Houston, Texas. I'm born from a rapist. I don't know, should I say that?
Whether you are black or white or rich or poor, born or pre-born, all of us matter, all have value.
Why are we seeing such an explosion, literally, of occultism in the last 50, 60 years? Because we're hastening to the time of the return of Jesus Christ.
We have been so dumbed down in our theology. We don't recognize evil when we see it anymore.
And I'm about to turn off a light, and I look down, I can see a black figure crawling on the ceiling.
I have a black demon that's ripping out my heart, that's shoving a poke down into another demon's mouth on my thigh. I have Medusa from the gates of hell on my back. I have a Baphomet on my throat.
I gotta go all the way back around, so stay on the line, okay?
I should have died. I don't know how I was still alive.
Oh, this guy just had a gun, just ready to just shot at us.
you. If you would like. And now it's time for that part of the show where we give a big thank you and a shout out to all the beautiful men and women who support this show with their hard-earned and much appreciated dollars. We could not do this without you. If you would like to increase the value of your life and get your name on this list, just go to patreon.com/thesystemisdown and join the Downers Club.
I'm done, I'm pissed, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. You Satanists want to sacrifice the West. You want to kill the beautiful goddess that is the West. You people are enemies, and we're going to get your asses, and we know what you're up to, and we're coming for you. So I've had enough of these people. Okay, so I've been containing this for the last week. That's why I've been in here sweating, getting pissed, because I can't handle it anymore.
Hey, this is Toby from Bad Christian, and you're watching AntiNews. Hey, this is Toby from Bad Christian, and you're watching AntiNews.
What a delightful pee. I did take quite a delight.
I skipped my pee for the people.
You are truly a gentleman and a scholar. So, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen, and dogs and cats and everything in between. We're gonna wrap up the show with another story, possibly two, if we can come up with two. And then after that, we're gonna jump over into the after party, which is for anybody who is in the Downers Club at the $1 or more level. $1 gets you the extended episode live. And if you want to give $5, you'll be able to listen to it later on if you're too sleepy after that. Nathan Sipes said, "You welcome dogs?" Good question. Dogs are literally super Hitler. All right, Craig, you got any other stories for this evening?
I do. I got a doozy. I want to get a little off the heavy-heartedness that we've been in lately, and one of my favorite phenomenons
feminists
now because of social media, because none of this ever happened pre-social media, not to this extent. It's kind of like what we were talking about, the over-glorified shootings and stuff like that. But another thing that is just seriously overplayed due to social media is celebrity feuds.
You think? I mean, we never heard anything about them unless they like made a what's it called? A diss track to each other. Yeah, like Biggie and Tupac back in the day or something.
So this is by far my favorite thing that I've read on the internet probably this year. 50 Cent, apparently 50 Cent and Ja Rule have a feud going on.
Sorry, I had you turned down. Repeat everything.
So,
oh yeah, phenomenon. I sound like a frickin' psychopath because you were saying nothing from what they could hear, and I was just saying gibberish nonsense.
You're just rambling. What I was saying was my favorite phenomenon because of social media now, which is overly hyped, same as shootings and stuff like that. It's way overplayed, and the only reason it exists now is because of social media. Is the concept of celebrity feuds, not Family Feud, but celebrity feuds.
Yes.
The most recent one, and this is currently my favorite headline of the year, is because I wasn't aware until today that 50 Cent and Ja Rule are currently in a feud.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me
50 Cent is in
either.
Eminem's camp. Ja Rule is
in Ja Rule's
was
camp.
taken down by Eminem, quote unquote, back in the day of their diss track battle.
So this headline is on Fox News, but it says 50 Cent buys 200 seats at Ja Rule concert just to keep them empty in an ongoing feud. Does it get more petty than that? Really?
That's similar to what we heard Bernie Sanders was doing at Donald Trump rallies leading up to the election. Including a Donald Trump rally that you and I went to. Still not Trump supporters. Don't freak out because I'm wearing white and blackface. Who knows? But Craig and I did try to go to a Trump rally, and we just to see what was going on, and we were like, we drove like 45 minutes to get there, stood in like literally negative 10-degree weather, freezing our asses off. My hands were blue by the time we got up to the door, and they said, you got to go. All the tickets were free, and supposedly, this is what they say, Bernie Sanders' camp went and they would get all the tickets since they were free. They would sign up for all the spots. So to try and bring down the numbers, so they would have to push the numbers out like an extra 500 just to make sure that they were able to fill out the arena that they had booked, and people will still be able
So
to
they would overbook the
Yes,
tickets.
they had to book
because
overbook,
supposedly because of that. Well, yeah, that's here. Apparently, that's exactly what 50 Cent did, or 50 Cent. My bad. Rapper 50 Cent has taken his feud with fellow rapper Ja Rule to a new level. The star claims to have purchased 200 seats close to the stage. So not even like nosebleeds, like the front seats, close to the stage of his rival's upcoming show. Ja Rule is playing a show in Arlington, Texas on November 9th. 50 Cent, in a since-deleted Instagram post, claimed to have bought 200 seats to the show just for the purpose of keeping them empty. He also made fun of Ja Rule's low ticket price of $15. Why would you make fun of that? If the guy's nice enough to sell his tickets at $15, then let him do it. Don't give him shit for giving us cheap tickets.
Right.
Not that I want to go see Ja Rule, but that's one of the least things you should be making fun of him for.
You remember those really big hits that Ja Rule has put out in the last 10 years?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, all of the hits.
I didn't even know Ja Rule was still playing music.
I didn't either until this article. Says 50 Cent says.
To be
people
fair, I
think
didn't know 50 Cent was either, but that's just me.
His caption said on his Instagram post, "People think I'm mean, so go see this. $15? Wait, what do I do now? LOL." He reportedly later commented, "I just bought 200 seats in the front row so they can be empty. LOL." I'm glad he's laughing out loud so much. The beef between the two Queens native, I thought I was calling them the two Queens. The two Queens native rappers goes back decades, as Vulture reports, turned violent at some points, while they've mostly been peaceful throughout the most recent years. 50, is it 50? Because it's just 50.
50, bro.
But it's just 50.
Don't
So
care. Get it right.
50 seems to have reignited the feud with his latest ticket caper. No, that dirty ticket caper.
He spent like $3,000 on Ja Rule's show. It's like there's a part of me that's like, that's funny. 50 Cent trolled Ja Rule, and it was brilliant and great and beautiful. But there's another part of me that's like, he gave him all the money he was asking for to have those seats filled. So who cares? I mean, it would be awkward, but he could just say, everybody come forward a couple rows.
Right. I know some big name artists won't sell out their front rows, and they'll just have people come down to the front row.
Yeah.
Like, just invite some of the people in the back to the front row, because he's like, these are the people that actually want to be up here, not the rich people that spend $250 for a ticket.
Sit there and swill gin through their monocles watching the latest Ja Rule concert.
To add insult to
injury. He does make a great point.
To add insult to injury.
I would have snootily quoted some Ja Rule lyrics, but I don't know any, so I can't really do that.
I got nothing against Ja Rule because I don't know anything that he does. To add insult to injury, 50 Cent has been using his Instagram to taunt Ja Rule ever since the story broke. Quote unquote, "LOL, at $15 a pop, you can't lose. I got 200 tickets for 3 bands," he wrote over an image of the two. He also shared
a
doctor.
Great is if he gave those tickets away to a bunch of 50 Cent fans, and they all wore 50 Cent shirts, and he gave them all shirts, and they showed up so that he couldn't fill in those spots with other people, and you would have to just sit there and watch all these trolls, like 200 trolls in the front row of your concert. That'd be the way to do it.
You really think 50 Cent fans are really care that much? They get free tickets to a Ja Rule show. I mean, are they as petty as 50 Cent? I mean, you'd have to pretty much pay people to be petty.
They would show up. They would show up, and if he said you have to do this and you have to agree to this to show up in this shirt, people would do it. Of course they'd do it. They'd probably pay to do it. They would pay him to be a troll at Ja Rule's show. They would pay him way more than $15 to be a part of his army.
Oh, yeah. Says he also shared a doctored image of himself sitting in a seat or in a sea of empty seats, as well as a video of a previous Ja Rule concert spliced with footage of a slew of empty seats. This is what y'all was rocking to before I came out, he wrote in the caption of a photo of a young Ja Rule. Now you owe me big time, and don't ever forget it. It's like, seriously, does it get more petty than this? I mean, how old is 50 Cent now that he's playing this stupid, like, high school...
I don't care. Is it stupid?
This is
yeah.
like Taylor
is it
Swift line stuff.
Is it entertaining? That's all that matters. I mean, his whole life is just muttering things into a microphone. I don't really care about the pettiness. I'm totally fine with it. He's not doing any damage. He's just making things more entertaining. It's like the Eminem and MGK back and forth thing. It's like, are you being petty? Yeah. Am I going to keep tuning in because I find it really entertaining? Yeah. Let's give all baseball players steroids and see how much more entertaining it becomes. Why would we not? This is entertainment, for F's sake. Like, we're in America. Keep it going.
What he's kind of stooped to the Miley Cyrus, Nicki Minaj low of feuds here. It's just really bizarre. The level that a 43-year-old man, very, very successful man, mind you.
I would say that I don't know about the Miley Cyrus, Nicki Minaj
feud.
Oh,
really?
But that would make you feel the need to tell me what it is. So I'm just gonna say, yeah, I totally get it.
That was all overly. It was like a big act because there was an award ceremony I'd seen where I didn't see Miley Cyrus's thing, but apparently she snubbed not Cardi B. What? I'm getting my divas mixed up now. She snubbed Nicki Minaj somehow. Well, on the thing, Nicki Minaj like clearly overly acted this like comment about Miley Cyrus and like confronts her from the stage. She's just like Miley Cyrus and gave this like look to the camera and just like clearly staged.
Why would Nicki Minaj be feuding with Miley Cyrus? They're completely different genres.
I don't know. Well, genres are just becoming a blur now. I mean, Taylor Swift.
Oh, it's true.
Like pretty much raps now, and she was country 4 years ago.
Yeah. Nathan Sipes just said, wait, Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly had a feud? Nathan, screw you, because this is clearly your first listening to the AntiNews.
You talked about that for like 4 weeks straight.
I did, and it was great, and I loved it. And people actually chimed in on those conversations, as mundane as they were.
So, yeah, that's pretty much all that article. I just found it hilarious that, I mean, the whole thing, even whether he did or not, I hope he did actually do that, because that's hilarious to me that somebody would actually buy 200 tickets, front row tickets, just to stick it to Ja Rule.
Yeah. I enjoy it. It would have been great if Nathan just commented again and said, I said Megyn Kelly, bitch. He said that Eminem had a feud with Megyn Kelly.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Funny. Good dad humor. Trenton Cable says Taylor Swift is bae. Well, that's cool.
I get Lucas Riley comments, you mean Tadolf Swiftler? I mean, she is white, so she must be Hitler.
That's right. Anyway,
well,
it is 8:24, which means we've got about 5 minutes left. Do you have any other short articles? Oh, we've got a call incoming here, so I'm going to take that. Bye, Craig. Hello, 6846. Who are we talking to?
This is Nathan.
Nathan, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Good. Did you have something to weigh in with?
Yeah, I felt bad that nobody had called in.
It's all right. We're pretty accustomed to it around here. But did you have what did you want to talk about?
I miss you.
Well, you might be incriminating yourself because you're telling people that we know each other personally, which could be detrimental on the show.
That's right. Is this supposed to be anonymous?
It doesn't have to be unless you want it to be. This is not my cell number, if that's what you're asking.
Oh, okay. I wondered why you never responded to my text.
Yeah. Do you have any comments on anything that's come up so far? Do you just want to call in and tell me you love me? I love you too.
That was pretty much it.
You're alone in a hotel room and drunk right now, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm drunk on SoCo.
Well, cool. That's what we're here to do. So, Lucas Riley just says Nathan called in. That's pretty awesome. That's the excitement of our conversations around here. Somebody called in.
Yeah.
Holy shit! It's Nathan. Wow.
I just figured I'd pop the cork on it.
Yeah. Well, Nathan, if you're not busy later on, in about 10 minutes, we're going to be in the after party. And
okay, I'm married.
You can just drunkenly join the whole conversation at that point and just say whatever you want to say.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you then, unless you had anything else.
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll see you in the after party.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was Nathan Sipes.
What I heard of that, I heard little bits because of the delay.
Uh-huh.
That was the most boring call-in I've ever heard.
He said he was calling in just because he felt bad that nobody had called in. And he
Well, I
sounds like he's
appreciate-
had a few drinks. I know Nathan after a few drinks. Nathan and I go way back, and I kissed Nathan on the mouth at his wedding, and I was in his wedding party, so we know each other pretty well.
So you were in the wedding and you kissed him on the mouth. Was he marrying you
That
secretly?
story will be in the after party, and Nathan will be there. So if you want to be a part of that, join the Downers Club by going to patreon.com/The System Is Down, and for only $1 a month, or only $1 right now, you can be in the after party as it airs live. Did you have one more short article?
I don't got any short
Why don't
ones.
we
no.
do? I realized today that, well, for those of you who have been listening since this was a patron-only show, before it was broadcast live for the whole public, we used to do the fake news reports, where Craig and I would come up with we would try to combine all the stories that we talked about into one big fake news article and play off of that, and it usually ended up sounding way more realistic than the actual news headlines. So we can do that.
I forgot about the fake news.
I did
That's
too.
a part of us that has been lost throughout the whole us trying to make this a more professional environment. We've kind of lost the fake news report.
Thon Conduct just weighed in and said, big news, Trump impeachment, class offered again at San Diego State.
Is that the fake news report?
Couldn't tell you. Beto, send us some links, and we'll have to report on it in the future. We don't do breaking news. We barely do week-old news around here. So, Craig, did you have a fake news story to
Oh, you're putting me on the spot, man. You're putting me on the spot.
Indeed.
Well, we all know about this spewing of hatred that Trump has been spewing.
Of course.
Obviously,
Yes, he does.
because he's a Republican.
Because he's a spewer.
And you did hear his recent claims about people of the Jewish faith.
I did not.
Well,
Do tell.
You remember his anti-Muslim law that he passed where he deported all the Muslims? You remember that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I remember when he became president, he passed that law.
Of course, yeah.
So he's upped his ante, he's upped his game. And, so realistically, you do know that he came out supporting Jerusalem and Israel, Jerusalem as the capital of Israel or whatever.
Of course.
And obviously that was purely anti-Semitism on his part.
Of course.
The reason he did that was to set the stage for this mass exodus, no pun intended, mass exodus of the Jews, because he has made
How many years?
an executive.
It's going to be like 40 years, something like that?
Yeah, something like that,
Okay.
roughly. Actually, he's saying 40 days. He's in 40 days.
Oh.
He's going to
He's going to do better than God. He's going to beat God's record for exoduses.
Exactly.
Or exodi.
The people of Jewish faith, if you claim to be of Jewish faith, He's got this promised land for you over in Israel where you can go live freely all you want because he's shipping you all over there. That's why he opened this whole thing up. And he's
doing you a favor.
Yeah, this has been his end game all along. He's gonna round up, because the Muslim deportation was just a trial run because there's far less Muslims in the country. So as anti-Semitism is on the rise, he thinks it's only best for the country and for the people of Jewish origins that he gathers them all up collectively and massively ships them back to their country that we created for them.
Yeah.
We made this we are gifting this to them. Not unlike what was it, Liberia, that we kind of set up to send, or somebody set up to send African Americans back to after slavery ended, which that ended so well, clearly, because people who haven't lived in Africa for probably centuries would love to go back there and be part of that.
They weren't from there.
Exactly. So yeah, we have this whole safe haven set up, which, I mean, conspiracy theorists are claiming that he's just wanting them to all get in one spot so there can be a false flag nuke attack on,
of course,
the country of Israel, which would by far eliminate all the Jewish people,
of course,
off the face. So he would single-handedly beat Hitler's record in 40 days.
Wow.
That was really dark. And
Yeah.
straight off the top of my head, I don't know where that came from.
I don't feel like I want to weigh in on this, given my current getup here.
Oh, goodness.
Nathan, the person who just called in, who's one of my best friends, if not the best friend, my bae.
Your BFF?
He's got a little bit of Jewiness in him. He's Judeo-Christian, and if you saw him on the street, you'd be surprised he wasn't wearing a yarmulke. Let's just say that. But also, Mark Claire, it's been nice knowing you. We'll see you on the other side, or we won't, goy as we are. Anyway, so my fake news story, if you're just now tuning in, I apologize for whatever that was. That's what Craig found on the news sites that he
that's legitimate site, legitimate news. That was obviously from Fox News.
Of course, obviously. So what else did we talk about tonight? The pipe bombs, the shooting. What was the first thing? Oh, Megyn Kelly in blackface. So, did you hear about Megyn Kelly?
Let me stop you really quick.
Uh-huh.
You're never going to pass your fake news stories as real, because if you go back and listen to each episode where we did fake news stories, every single one of yours starts with, did you hear about, or did you hear the one about?
I'm getting there.
Okay. All right. Keep going.
Also, I'm kind of hoping that they don't pass as real news, because in the day where, like, just tonight, the first story that you looked up was fake news. It was an actual story that they made this racist spin on, and you believed it for a good while. So just so everybody knows, this is fake news. We're saying it's fake news. We're not lying. We're not trying to convince you of anything. This is a fun little game that we like to have and piss people off.
Should flash up a sign at the bottom in case people tune in a little late. Flash up
news.
Fake news.
We know it is. Now you derailed my thought that had barely formed. You aborted my infant thought. It was just a clump of cells of a thought. So, did you hear about Megyn Kelly?
There you go again.
Did you though?
No, I haven't heard the most recent.
She recently was removed from NBC. She was fired. She still gets her $69 million contract with NBC to do nothing if she so chooses. But she's choosing to make a comeback. And guess what network she's coming back on?
MSNBC?
Trump News Network, of course.
Oh, obviously.
She's going to be the African-American weather correspondent for the morning news. She's going to be showing up every single week in blackface on Trump News Network. Just to remind people, just so you know, I can get away with this, and also it's going to be a little bit rainy today. It's going to be blustery in more ways than one.
The sky is going to be a little dark today, not unlike my face.
Yes, the sky is going to be pitch black and not supremely white like it was yesterday. We're getting some we're predicting some supremely white flurries. Every single thing on the Trump News Network has to have like a little bit of a racist spin on it. Even if you're just talking about the weather, it's got to be something about. We're gonna have a beautiful, beautiful white snowy day. Perfectly
some unwanted
white,
weather
day.
Is migrating across the border.
Some darker, angry, bitter Democratic weather is coming over the border. And it's all because of the Democrats and their climate control. So there's that. Tune in to Machine Gun Megyn Kelly and her new spot on either Fox News or Trump Network. I don't remember. Nathan Sipes comments in. I'm sure this will be great. I can't read it.
It is great.
This format
read it.
sucks.
You're using white font with your white clothes, is what he's offended by. No, not the tsidpod.com, the website link right in the bottom corner. It is very whitewashed out, very whitewashed like your face.
Let me move over here. So you can
other side. Go the other way. Go the other way.
What's going on?
Oh, sorry, that's the wrong way.
If you'd like to hear more, please go to tsidpod.com every Monday morning for actual interviews and conversations with people that we disagree with. This morning was the continuation of my conversation with occultist witch Leylikin Skathich, and next week will be, who knows, I haven't decided yet. I've got a couple on the docket, but
I'm really terrified because I was actually intrigued by the man's comment, so I feel like I'm like scared I might have a change of heart because I allowed my ears to perceive something that a professed witch would be saying. I mean, I as soon as I started feeling slightly interested, I instantly shut the show off so I wouldn't be converted.
What's funny is my wife was listening to both episodes earlier today, and she was like, and she barely ever listened to the show, whatever. But she was like, it's just not that sexy. It's not that, like, he's basically saying things, and this is what I told her the night that I talked to him. Like, I agree with most of what he says, except for this source.
I know.
Like,
right.
Most of the things he says, yeah, you're not far off. But we're, especially as, like, we were both raised fundamentalist Christians, and we're like, well, if you believe that way, then we need to witness to you, and we need to debate you into the kingdom, and you are clearly a baby murdering psychopath. I guess that wasn't in there. That came with more of the conspiracy stuff. But the guy makes a lot of sense, and he was a great chat, a lot of fun to talk to. But I don't remember where I was going with this. Something about getting us the hell out of here. So
I did. Animus Channel, not sure who that is, but he chimed in. This is the first time I've seen him chime in.
He's one of our UK guys.
He says, Leylikin makes everyone want to be more reasonable about things. It's true. It's absolutely true that, and it's sad that a professed, what our family, not us personally, but our family would perceive as blatant evil, that he's the reasonable one.
Hellbound Heathen.
He's the reasonable one here out of most fundamentalist Christians that we've ever talked to or conversed with. This guy is far more reasonable in communication with other beliefs, with other religions.
He's not demonizing, pun intended, people who disagree with him. And that's the whole point of this show. Like, we have differing beliefs. Craig and I probably have differing beliefs, let alone me and Ken. But we can all chat with each other. We can all have conversation. We can all try and figure this thing out together. I know that a lot of people in my sphere would say that that's a wishy-washy Christian, but I've had my ups and downs with Christianity, my ins and outs, my doubts and everything, and the least I can do is listen to the words and the story of somebody who has gone through a different path in life, completely different, looked into different things, is way more educated on things than I am, and say, That's interesting. I am so glad that I talked to you, because I had these crazy thoughts before. And sure, I'm not saying that satanic ritual abuse doesn't exist. I'm not saying there aren't evil witches. I'm not saying there aren't evil Christians. I'm saying, hey, let's talk about this. And Ken is not my enemy, at the very least.
Right. I mean, how many stories have you heard about people who have died because of exorcisms, like Christian and Catholic exorcisms? And it's no different to me than a Satanist performing a ritual sacrifice or murder or drinking baby blood or whatever.
We look at movies like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, where she's possessed by a demon, and this priest comes in and he says, we're not using... Well, the whole thing is like a court case, because he didn't get her medication and stuff. He was trying to get the demon out of her. And then she dies. And that whole movie, it's like... It's like, well, she definitely had a demon. There's no debating that. It's just whether or not the guy had good intentions of not giving her medication. That's the court case. And Christians such as myself watch that. We're like, yeah, that's a win. But he let somebody die.
But she died, yeah.
The evidence that we have that she was possessed by a demon are unseen. Yes, she was doing some horrible things and some crazy things. And maybe she was possessed by a demon, but he did let her die. And if a Satanist came in and said, we're going to pray to Satan and try and take this angel out of her, would he not be at fault if she died?
Yeah, right. I mean, we would mark that up as basically murder, even if he was like trying to help her, even if it wasn't trying to get an angel out of her, if he was like trying to heal her with witchcraft or what have you. And we would write that up as a satanic murder. And that was your guest today, last week. He had said that, if medicine is available, I'm not telling you not to take the medicine. Take the freaking medicine, and then we'll go from there.
Yes. And everything comes back to intent. Intent with blackface, whiteface, intent with Satanism or witchcraft or Christianity or any belief. Your intent matters. You can say that somebody is a terrible person based on your immediate perception of them because they have their face painted white and black written across their forehead. You can assume that I'm a racist because of that. You can assume that because I'm a Christian, I would let somebody die and not take the necessary medical steps to get them actual, like, human healing. Or you could just talk to people and see what they actually think, because nobody is in, like, people are in different camps, but every single person is an individual. It's like the Men in Black thing where he's like, Will Smith asked Tommy Lee Jones when he's debating on getting into it. He's like, aren't people smart? He's like, no, a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, crazy animals. And like, you can't judge the individual based on his association with a panicky, crazy group of any kind.
Right.
All right.
I have no comment for that. You said it all. You said all the words.
Perfect. Well, if you're not overly offended yet, and if you have recently tuned in, if you would like to join the after party, we're going to keep this party going for about another 45 minutes to maybe an hour, if Craig's so willing. But we're going to do that at patreon.com/thesystemisdown in the after party. And you can get that for only $1. And if you want to call in, no matter how drunk and inebriated you are, you can call in and be a part of the entire conversation. We'll figure it all out over there, the semantics behind it. But patreon.com/thesystemisdown and sign up for the Downers Club and be a part of the after party in about 5 minutes. Craig, any final thoughts?
I'm glad to see other people chiming in, new people. Maybe it was worth it to pull this to an earlier time slot. Definitely get more people in next week. Bring your friends. If you really enjoyed this or kind of enjoyed it even, or just don't have an opinion whatsoever. If you didn't hate it,
outraged by it and want somebody else to be outraged with you, bring it along. That's fine. We love discourse. But tune in next week, probably same time. We'll probably shoot for 7 next week, and we'll do it a couple weeks, see how it goes. AntiNewsLive.com, 309-716-3818, and patreon.com/thesystemsdown. Let's jump over into the after party. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are beautiful, wonderful, awesome people. And I don't assume any of you are baby murderers or racists. Trent Campbell
Hopefully.
said, will it work on the app? Probably. Are you talking Patreon app? Probably. It should work. So, Craig, all that said, and without any further rambling, I would like to finally close this out by saying, question everything. And
please stay as uncomfortable as possible.
Uncomfortably.
Comfortably uncomfortable.
Anti-Semitic and racist, or whatever you're going to assume. All right. Bye.
Goodbye.
So here's my pledge to you. I will be a commander-in-chief that will have the back of the military. I won't trash talk. I won't be a divider-in-chief or an agitator-in-chief. I won't be out there blowharding, talking a big game without backing it up. I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country, to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.